Hello, and welcome back to Friendsim. So I already skipped the first part of this. And then we're doing Vicari. Yeah, Vicari. And then we'll get on to the newest content that came out the other day that I was not aware of. Let's see here. It's probably best for you to stop trying to predict what's going to happen. What's going to happen to you at this point? Everything that's happened so far on this planet has been kind of chaotic. We're back at a rocket ship. In fact, you're ready for something more familiar. You're back to the site of your abandoned spaceship. So, sure, it's smashed beyond repair, but it's a little slice of home. Maybe at least one or two pieces of it are fixable. You march off in what you think is the right direction. But when you get there, you're not alone. A little guy in a hat and big goggles is standing there, gazing at your spaceship, maybe assessing it. As you watch, he breaks a couple gears and stuffs them in his pocket. Hey, you clear your throat loudly. Good galloping gravy. Oh, guys, this is another Jake English. But I've never seen the likes of you before. What strange wonders the heavens have rained down on us today. So I'm eating fruit snacks. You quickly lose any indignation you were building up. He's smiling at you. His release somewhat amicable. Maybe you got this all wrong. Maybe this next person you're going to get chummy with. He reminds me of Horace, but as a Rasputin. He's Horace and Rufio's love child. That's who he is. Yeah, I already got that. You cut right to the chase. No point in beating around the ground leaf covering. Oh, the bush. That's probably what they call it on this planet. You let this guy know that you're the proprietor of the spaceship he's stripping, and you're in mighty need of a new friend. A friend, eh? The bosom companion, a pal about town. I've seen nary of Timon, Dickus, or Harry around these parts who might fit the bill. It's another Jake English. Come on, mouse. You were kind of trying to imply that this guy could be your friend. Is it too late to say that now? Are you implying it with your eyebrows? As for me, day-to-day matters on Altena. Every time I mention this planet's name, I say it different every time. I think I got it right once. Interest me not. As for I care about hurtling at great speeds through the boundless expanse of the cosmos. That's right, space. It is spaceflight that consumes my every waking thought and my ardor. As an accountant was my duty as future Altarian Crusader, of course. No oxygen, no wind, total vacuum. That's the life for me, alright? I kinda wanna see into his hat right now. I see his hair a little bit. Flying in space, above the atmosphere, not within the realm of gravity's purview. Wouldn't have it any other way. Right. You get the feeling you're missing something. This guy seems really defensive about his interest in spaceflight. Maybe like he's trying to say something totally different. Whatever it is, his internal conflict clearly precedes that over your issue. He seems like a great candidate for friends despite the fact his voice sounds like it belongs in a newsreel about World War II. I have just one query for you, Spurt, if I may be so bold. Do you also like spaceflight? How did I get here if I didn't? Do you yearn to see the moon shining above, the clouds whipping by as you chase and tease the impish western winds? And then also going past that, up into space. Oh god. See, my character's already implied he doesn't like spacecraft, but he is so enthusiastic about spacecraft, so I'm going to tell him he loves spacecraft. Hey, I got it correct. And I can't open my fruit snacks. Well then, we are in total agreement. Two kindred souls traveling hand in hand to the glorious and yet inevitable future of conscripted service in space. Which is, as I've already made clear, a thing I most definitely positively desire. It seems as we have nothing more to discuss. Doodle! Okay. Wasn't expecting that end. Let's try that again. Skip! His eyes widen, you see them sparkle. Ah, I see. You're an individual, more sophisticated palette. You're a connoisseur of the buoyant art, are you? So you can never be satisfied with the anemic affair of traveling through the inky blackness of the galaxy. I have a junt in my hive. I believe a junt to my hive is in order. Let's get a wiggle on. I love this guy so much right now, just because of the way he speaks. Probably gonna get annoying later. There's a lot going on there, but you understand what he wants. He wants us to follow him. That's what he said. The following way takes you to a building where all the rooms seem to have balanced out spindly, looking stilted. The hive soars above you and into the sky. You just gestures to a little platform attached to the police system like a rudimentary elevator. It brings you into a small dark room. His house is pretty much what we would have guessed. The walls are covered in star maps and pictures of spaceships. You notice that many of them have cheery slogans splashed across them saying, "Explore the galaxy because you're required to fulfill your duty to society. Enlist, travel, make friends, don't get cold." Yuvin doesn't seem too happy as he looks around the place. Just a hive for dedicated spacecraft enthusiasts, isn't it? You nod, not sure what this is leading to. But not everyone went the wrong... Well, I can't speak. But no one ever went wrong relying on a non-specific, plausible, deniable agreement. Who am I fooling? I remembered me, potential new chums. What you see before you is a college of falsehood. I'm nothing but an avatar of baloney. They have baloney on Altair? In truth, the mere temptations and desires of space do nothing but tickle my biscuit. The thought of participating in the glorious internal conquest gave me the screaming mimus. That is not how that word is pronounced, but I don't care. My interest lies in something a little lower down. He reaches up and peels back one of the posters. Behind it is another poster, this one showing the views of clouds in the night sky. Behold my shame. The truth is, I long to toss and turn with the grasp of Mistress Gravity's sweet fingers. To traverse the sky, can such a thing be? Imagine flying... Oops. That skipped. To traverse the sky, can such a thing be? Imagine flying with the confines of Alternaria's very atmosphere. And I skipped it again. Defying the very convention of what we all know to be true. Instead of down, up. Instead of falling, soaring. Can you imagine? Can you see it before you? Can you ever dream of an existence such as a flying machine? Yes! I brought you here to show you my truth. Oh no! An airplane? The plane that floats in the air? Flying machines are serious business. I think you should leave. Fuck! Game over. It didn't even say any words, just game over. I thought... So, we seem to be Earthling as we know the existence of airplanes. Ah, but the future is ours to build, my strange-hued and unhorned comrade. What do you think? Does it excite you? Do my ideas rattle your buttons? I just love the fact, from what I'm gathering in this moment, I just love the fact that Ontaria has the ability to travel, not only just in space, but galaxies and galaxies away from their home planet with advanced technology, but they don't have airplanes. You can't help but notice that he's referred to you as chum and a comrade, but friend hasn't made its appearance yet. Do synonyms count? Synonyms count, or is it just a tick of his speaking style? You look as earnest as you can and nod vigorously. You're almost positive this thing he really wants to express an interest. Ah, the truth will out. You and I share this furtive passion for the indulgence of the air. A dialogue between a troll and a flying machines in the stars, but further away from the stars than what we would be in a spaceship. I cannot stress enough how different such a thing is. Yes, they are truly different. You can't decide between nodding and shaking your head. So you furrow your brow and do your best to look thoughtful. Maybe you're contemplating the difference. This fellow's demeanor towards you is definitely shading to the more temperate climate zones. However, certain physical needs are starting to assert themselves. You are still pretty banged up from your previous adventures, but right now the aching of your stomach is screaming for attention. You humbly ask your friend to be if there might be a chance of getting a bite to eat. But of course. What if I had known you'd had a rumbly in the old digestive bladder? I would have shut my yapper toot sweet. Oh gosh, these words. Time for a good nosh, a yaman rooney. What a ho. Now, we should attain the victuals. We could venture in the great unknown, which to say, out of my hive. Or we can stay here, beholden to whatever twist and turn Lady Fate has in store for us in the nutrition block. What do you say, new timer? Oh gosh. Does he want us to go out to look for food or stay in the hive? You tell him any food he has in the house will be fine. Surely staying here will get you fed more quickly. No problem at all, my friend. A fervent fellow. However, I believe two kindred souls such as ourselves have some more way of communicating than mere words alone. I think I'm grasping the meaning behind your quest. The signal from your transmitter is pinging my cranial orb receiver, your brain. I can see that you're truly after the food for the soul. You definitely meant food for the body. You look for an opening where you might gently correct your new buddy, but he seems to be working himself into saying more things. The delectable nutrition is what a troll's truest craves. This sustenance of thought, of imagination, of desire. How do you eat with those teeth, sir? Is my question. That which nourishes the self better than the finest grub noodle. Art, passion, science. You must have an hankering to see my flying machine designs and sketches. Despite your troubles, you can't help think his enthusiasm is kind of sweet. You nod weakly. You make one last attempt indicating that food might strengthen you to fully appreciate his work. No need to worry. I am fully confident in your ability to take in my glorious blueprints. You have shown yourself to have quite the sturdy noggin and the disconcerting gander bulb. I would welcome your input. Warmth blooms from your stomach. It feels nice to hear him compliment you. You're not sure what you've actually done to earn his praise, but you definitely don't want to ruin this now. Maybe seeing his design will be fun, even on an empty stomach. Maybe it will really nourish you on a level that will help you forget about the prosaic, earthly nourishment you thought you wanted. You tell him you're in. Not so fast. That which I am planning to reveal to you is I kept closest to my torso pillar. Not that I don't trust you, my footloose and horn-free cohort. But I think I'd like to trust you a little more before vivisecting myself. And a display of bleeding organs before your penetrating gaze. Which is a metaphor for exposing my portfolio. Might I trouble you to participate in a small trust trial? No problem, you tell him. Your bud insists to make you comfortable while he gets a few supplies. After a few minutes, he returns with a fistful of fabrics in different colors. His whip's been bounced around the old brand box of mine, buddy-o. I'm gonna tie this blindfold around your face, and then I'm gonna give you some instructions. And then you're gonna try to locate the case where I kept my treasured sketches. If you can find it, that means we trust each other deeply, like two wings working in unison to achieve liftoff. He talks so much. And if that's how wings work, I'm still figuring out the principles for that matter. Are you romp? What a romp. Are you sure you're up to it? Are you sure you're up to it? Yes. Maybe. Probably not. It's too late to turn back now, and really, you don't want to. It's kind of a relief to have him tell you what you can do to earn his friendship in plain terms. Well, as plain as this guy's terms ever get. You give him a thumbs up. Now we're on the trolley. He quickly ties this fabric around your face. Time's upon us. Time for the inaugural flight of our deepening bond. Time to nudge our fledgling companionship out of the nest and see what's happening. You and your new friends start to direct you around the room. To the left. No, my left. Sorry, okay, I meant your left. And now, onwards to the glorious future that lies before us. You smile weakly, doing your best to follow his instructions. He sounds happy, so he must be getting somewhere. Almost to the doorway. 3 steps forward, and if you be so... Wait. Crash. You stagger backwards from the impact. You hear yourself wheeze in a sock that's totally knocked the lungs out of your commission. Your chest jerks in tiny contractions as you gasp for air. Oh, beans. Ding, dang, darn it. There's no pain, just intense pressure forcing the center of your face, right around where you ran into something, face first. You pull at the blindfold and you hear footsteps. Probably means your new friend is rushing over to help. He gets the blindfold untied and his face swims in your vision. He looks like utterly gobsmacked. I'll be a Hornby's grub food. Everything's cockapec, new pal. Copactic, new pal. You put your hand to your face and touch something wet. Sure enough, you pull your fingers away to see they're covered in blood. Your nose isn't gushing or anything, sending out a couple rivulets to let you know it's having a bad day. It's just not so bad. You tell acquaintance this. He doesn't look any less horrified. Severing stracumuli. All this time I've been testing you to see if I could place the tender gift of our trust in your declawed little hand, and you have bestowed upon me the greatest trust of all, knowledge of your non-standard hemiotologic attributes. I am honored, flabbergasted, absolutely pushed to the brink of rationalizing by such a display of faith. Never mind the trust trial, you deserve to see my sketches. Just wait here. I'll be back in 2 shakes of a baby Bobby's hindquarters. 2 shakes of a lamb's butt. Well, good to know that bleeding is the one thing that's getting us friends so far. You sit down on the floor again, wiping the blood off your face. You're not going to question the stroke of luck you've been shown. Why, if you knew bleeding was the key to his affections all along, you would have encountered some blood from the site of your multiple injuries. But no matter, you sniffed the last drop of... Oh, don't do that. That's nasty. When your almost friend returns, he drops a big stack of paper in your laps. You page through the designs. The first few are rudimentary, mostly variations on spaceships with little notes like how do I make it not reach escape velocity, less dreadful, shape a little less aerodynamic. But as you keep going, designs got pretty interesting. One seems to rely on big rotation cells to activate lift. Another shows a light frame body attached to 4 jointed wings. You briefly wondered if he has plans to make the wings out of... You really wonder what he plans to make the wings out of before you see his notes saying these are dragon wings. A follow-up scribble states, flapping mechanism, how to soft vigor modus. But hang on, you take a closer look at the machine's frames. This guy's sketch is pretty detailed. The frames doesn't seem to be made of wood or aluminum as you expected, but smaller individual shapes lashed together in some kind of cord. Maybe it's macabre aesthetics, but you think it looks like bones. Oh, flying bones. You look back at the other designs. Now that you look at it, the cells in this one has a texture that might be leather is similar. Ah, you're gonna make them from lucis? The sketches themselves are picked out in a variety of colors, not dissimilar to some of the brand new blood colors you discovered lately. Oh boy. You've been down this creepy alien road before. Using your lightest, most jocular tone, you question the bone shapes. You soften your words and says big, not freaked out smile. What's that? Well, I'm not a construction professional, you know, but gotta make use of what's available. Only cold low bloods and grubs, of course. Not an ounce of insecure spirit in this fellows over here. Fear not, unhorned one. These wacky cultural differences, you just misunderstood. You take refuge in your old standby of nodding and smiling. It's none of your business what body parts this fellow uses or doesn't use to make his Wright Brothers transformative fan works. Friends aren't for judging people uses of corpses as construction material anyways. You know, when you crash landed on my planet, I had no idea what to think. Vicari boy, old boy, you got a shot to the balls. Wait, what? Shot the balls right now. That's what I told myself. That sentence was all kinds of wrong. Telling an alien about your flying dreams, that ruffled the kitten, no doubt about it. But, now that we're here and you're having a looky-loo at my sketches, I'm thinking it might have been right for us to meet at all along. Perhaps the work of the Capra's Madame Destiny? Surely he isn't about to say you are friends. You can almost taste the sweet, friendship-affirming syllable coming from his mouth. You're just seconds away from converting from that converted S or F word, or are you? Perhaps you misconstructed everything. You look down at the sketches. Bones in this one, bones in that one. He says these plans call for bones of aliens like him. At least you understood him correctly. But they really don't look that different from, well, the bones you're more familiar with. Your own bones. Your bones, which have already gone through a lot today, may seem to be a kind of harvestable condition, if one was so inclined. You clear though, haha, you say. He's not in the market for these materials right now, is he? Like, right now. The friendly guy doesn't understand your question. He's not gonna push it, but you do risk a glance at yourself, then back at him, and then back at yourself, just to see if he's checking out the stuff. When you look back at him, he goes angst. Oops. Heavens to biscuits. Is that what you... Oh god, we fucked up. You think I'm the type to start taking people's body parts all higgly-piggly? How do you know what a pig is? As if there weren't plenty of thoughtlessly skirted ribcage to work with. If that's the type of gent you're looking for these parts, I'm afraid I'm not the type of aggressive heartthrob you're after. We can't all be macho, bloodthirsty, romantic hero types, ready to rip out our organs harvesting tools at moment's notice. I thought we could be friends, but now that I see you looking for something different. My apologies. I think. It's best you go somewhere else. Oh no! I want to correct the misunderstanding, but not fully so with the misunderstanding. This guy doesn't seem to be in any mood looking for friendship now. You hang your head and look like this was all just a big waste of time. Misunderstood. And try again. And click. Skip that. Skip that. Go out and look for food. From your budding chum words, it sounds like he himself isn't sure if there's any food in the house. Best to risk it and go outside. You tell him your decision. Top choice, buckaroo. Foraging is how I always get most of my time after all. There's just a small matter to trouble the old brain power. If we are venturing out to the unknown yonder, we should obtain some chow for my Lucius as well. He's real grumpy. Gustav! His name is Gustav! What is he? If he goes too long without his nosh, you start to draw yourself up proudly. It's taken a lot of bizarre running in and narrowing the close shaves. But you know all about Lucius. You inquire about Gustav, was it? Oh ho, what a card you are. No, my Lucius. I call him the Canary. He whips out a photo. It shows a small version of himself. His horns nothing like but stubs. A far pair of aviating goggles slipping off his nose. Standing behind him is a large white fowl. Big, straggly wings folded back against its body. You want to say an emu? Whatever it is, it's definitely not a canary. Is it an ostrich? Oh my gosh, that would be great. But if it is, it's an emus are just smaller ostriches. Its beak touches the top of your pal's head with something that might count as affection. He's not a persnickety shirt. All kinds of bugs and leaves will tickle his fancy. Shall we away? Shall we greet the horizon, what that rushes forward to meet us in the astounding grace? Shall we give ourselves to the current of time's great river? Sure, you tell him. You can leave the house. It's getting a lot easier to pay attention to the only words this guy says that actually make sense. You kind of enjoy his way of speaking, though. If nothing else, it gives you the feeling that he's getting excited about the food quest you're going to go on together. Your alien pal leads you back through the pulley system and outside again. The trip is not so easy on your bruised ribs. The thing about walking is, when you walk, your body moves. You've had better times, is all you're saying. You can indicate as much as to your companion. Oh boy, I hear ya. Moving while attached to the Altarian surface is the worst kind of hooey. The moment in when autonomous flight is invented trembles ever closer to the present. Can you hear it approach? The wails of a distant klaxon. The call to adventure. I feel like I'm watching Up. It beckons us forward through the years, the golden thread stretching ever onward to that glorious inevitability. That's not what you meant, but his excitement cheers you up a little. Maybe you'll feel better in the future when someone invents a flight on this planet. Certainly, by that time, either you will be further away in your healing or dead. Either way, thinking about that future brings a little rosy glow to your heart. You ask your buddy where you're going next. The world is our bewilder sea critter. The world is our ocean for which we fish. Or something like that. We'll go wherever the wind calls our name. Great. But if it's short-term answer you're inquiring after, the specific plant the canary likes to eat, it's got white petals and leaves as red as the troll's most lurid desire. You could... I read... What is it? Mate sprites? You could give a holler if your bulbs fall on something of that persuasion. You could just keep an eye out. You continue treasuring along beside him, wincing whenever you step jolts your injury. Maybe a little conversation will help distract you. You ask about your friends, about what got him so interested in flying in the first place. What could be better? Up there, free worldly concerns, the wind in your face and the horizon at your back. Seeing the continent spread out below you, finally feeling your personal aesthetics, is appropriate for given circumstances. You chew over this one for a minute or two. It seems like he really wants... What really makes this guy tick is the traveler and adventure thing. Or maybe that's just what you're getting at from his general demeanor and pretty much everything he said until now. You nervously bring up anything that might make him dislike you, but in the interest of bonding, you forge ahead. Aren't the, you say with apprehension, maybe some similarities between flying and space travel? Like maybe being in a spaceship could satisfy some of the urges. What? That may be some superficial similarity to trick the common troll, but in essence, the blood crucial, the heart and soul of each other, as different as night and day, as a mountain and a ditch, and a star and a mud puddle. Don't see so much of the resemblance there. Don't get a fellow wrong, space travel is fine. Well, it's the only way to satisfy our bloodthirsty, nearly immortal overlords. But I look forward to such a time when I can be of service to the eternal milestone grind of the intergalactic conquest. But it's missing the punch, the pizzazz, the pizza, the kaboom, the trunk beast honk of it all. And just as you feared, you've stepped into it now. You're struggling for a response when out of the corner of your eye you spot a cluster of white flowers. I believe you point them out to your companion who races over to gather them. But when he holds one up, you see it has blue leaves, not red. Your shoulder droops. It seems like all you're doing is disappointing your buddy who has been so nice to you, or at least that's what you think you read between the lines in his confusing speaking style. Fear not, my smooth-headed compadre. These are not the illusion rations to be sought, but this plant is people chow. What I mean to say is, we can eat it. Since we are people, it's food for people, not food made for people. To be clear, he comes back with a fistful of the flowers and hands you the blue leaves. You're not all sure that food is safe for your buddy. Will be safe for you as well, but at this point you don't have much to lose. Besides, the way your stomach is groaning, might as well be perfectly seared steak and put it in your mouth. Chewing on the leaf, you feel even more affectionate towards this guy than before. He was so worried this ship was just turning into an excuse for him to run some kind of household errand, but he really did find you something to eat. You are desperate to find some way of showing that you understand his interests and you want to connect with him on a deeper soul level. Anything to get him to look at you with that treasured glow of friendship in his eyes. Whenever he mentions space travel, he talks about how it's something he has to do, some kind of necessary obligation. There's a reason he's fixated on the activity of it's kind of similar. But that's a little different. Maybe it doesn't want to do the required thing of doesn't want to do the required thing the space conquests. But that doesn't have him in it. Maybe he doesn't want to do the required thing, the space conquest, but that doesn't have it in him to rebel entirely along the way. Maybe airplane flight or whatever similar he's envisioning is a compromise between what he has to do and what he wants to do. Hey, come on. A balance, like all must find in order to live as an individual in society that shapes the one desires from birth. You cautiously open your mouth, heart pounding as you venture to ask your pal, well, if he, or would rather, not satisfy the bloodthirsty overlords. If maybe part of him wants to go into his real flying, or wants to get into his flying scene and, well, leave for real. We said that in public. That's kind of reminded me of Matuna in that firm. He seems taken back. Maybe he should have never said it. It was a huge mistake. Probably pushed his friendship out of the reach for good now. Panicking, you point to the side, yelling that you see a big field of white flowers in that direction. Your potential friend leads to action, seeming glad to be given reason not to answer this question, and he races further in the direction you indicated. As a matter of second, there's a yelp, and your new acquaintance vanished. Instantly, you realize your error. You didn't even look where you're pointing. While walking, you unwillingly came close to a large cliff, which your companion has now disappeared over. You race to the side, your stomach flooding with fear. This is the absolute opposite of what you wanted. Is there no good ending to this? You look down and her. Your friend now looks approximately how you feel when you first landed on the Stark planet. He's conscious, his face frozen with shock. Oh, but one of his legs is twisted underneath him in his nasty way. You may not be familiar with his alien anatomy, but you're almost positive that it shouldn't look like that. You call out to him in distress, sure he's going to castigate you for your mistake. The strangeness of his language doesn't make it hurt any less. To lose this guy's trust forever. What? Oh, why is it so low? Callio, Callie! His voice floats up from the ground below, weak but somewhat jovial. Is it possible he's not angry? Oh, joyous happenings! Oh, delight for the body and spirit. Did you see? Did your being observed what occurred from your very visions? I flew! Soared through the air. You are not Papa Pan. Just for a moment, but it happened. You fell. An ecstasy like none I've known. You hesitate, but is it really possible that he would be taking this so well? That maybe your big fuck-up was a step in the right direction after all? It's definitely a little worrying to hear him celebrate a dangerous fall, but none of that matters if you can secure his friendship at last. Wow, your priorities are in straight. My strange associate. Oops, come on. Come down here. We'll celebrate in grand fashion this eve. How did you know? That brief sojourn thought of outer air would bring me such joy. You're a fine fellow. And truly, I hate that the box is so low. A truly superb friend. You're heartless of joy. He said it. Of course, now you have to find some way to climb down a cliff with your messed up ribs, and not to mention figuring out how to transport someone with a broken leg back to the house. You're not really sure if that's possible, or when the adrenaline that that got you this far will give out, and force you to succumb to your own pain. But a night full of difficulties ahead of you. You couldn't ask for a better balm than knowing that you'll face them in hand to hand with your new friend. Amusing, he didn't hurt his hands as well. Or assuming, not amusing, assuming he didn't hurt his hands as well. No matter, you did it. Victory! I'd say that leg is very much broken. And long for a turn, it seems. Alright, that's the end of Vakari's route. And I'll see you for the final two in the next one. I'll make it an hour-long special or something. See you.